Make it do what it do, baby. Great job.
That's that Sugar Hill.
F for water.
Hattie McDaniel.
Butterfly McQueen.
That's that Sugar Hill.
Are you ready?
Hello and welcome to the Sugar Hill Sunday Spotlight Series. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am your host, Erin Nicole Washington, actor and 2009 AGC alum. Over the past year, the world has experienced unprecedented times, and many of us ask the question, how to move forward? But if we don't know where we come from, it's going to be hard to see where we can go and the infinite possibilities that may lie ahead. Well, the Sugar Hill Arts Revival Project, SHARP for short, educates and empowers youth and also reminds our seasoned leaders the power of the human spirit. The project is a collaboration of Amazing Grace Conservatory, the Galen and Kathy Reaver Center, and the USC School of Dramatic Arts. We have brought you a multifaceted initiative that sheds light on the rich arts history of African American entertainers that resided in Los Angeles in the 1940s and 50s. This spotlighting series is meant to amplify legacy, the importance of communal wellness, and the strength of community. And for the next few months, we will be showcasing a myriad of voices and perspectives, current artists, scholars, and activists. So, let's kick it off. We are spotlighting the Queen of Gospel, the incomparable Mahalia Jackson.
Mahalia Jackson was a renowned gospel singer, actress, trailblazer, and activist. Jackson earned the title Queen of Gospel. Mahalia's Christian upbringing influenced her life and career. After moving to Chicago, Jackson's amazing voice became recognizable in churches across America. Mahalia's song, Move On Up a Little Higher, sold 2 million copies and hit the number 2 spot on the Billboard charts. Her music helped gospel cross over to diverse audiences. Jackson's recordings captured jazz fans in the US and France, and she became the first gospel artist to tour Europe. Mahalia Jackson was inducted in both the Gospel Music and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jackson went on to act in films and appeared on network television shows. Mahalia also began to perform annually at Carnegie Hall, and she sang for President Kennedy. Facing pressure to record secular music, Jackson continued in gospel. She used fame to help with civil rights. Most notable was her performance before Dr. Martin Luther King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. Mahalia Jackson frequented the Sugar Hill Arts District in Los Angeles. She was featured on an album with Duke Ellington and worked with other artists, including the talented Gwendolyn Lightner, who was a gospel musician in Sugar Hill. Jackson will always be revered as one of the most influential and accomplished gospel singers. Mahalia Jackson's legacy will remain a significant contribution to African American entertainment history.
We can glean so much from Miss Mahalia Jackson's life. And in fact, we are blessed. We are blessed and highly favored. We have a colleague, we have a friend, we have a mentee of Miss Mahalia here today with us right now. Without further ado, Here is Wendy Raquel Robinson and our esteemed guest, Ricke, Vermont.
Amen.
All right. Well, I just want to say I'm so thankful and I am so excited to be here with you, Mr. Ricke Vermont, and just to share in your legacy. So I want to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're from and what it is that you do?
First of all, I want to thank you as well for this opportunity, Miss Wendy. I'm Ricke Vermont, and I am a actor, singer, musician, teacher, father, grandfather, and all-around good person.
Wow. So you have done quite a lot, not only in Los Angeles, but in the entertainment industry. And Sugar Hill Sundays is, as you know, we are spotlighting various artists of the past that have really created an imprint on the world. And I think you have done that as well. Tell us a little bit about your entertainment background.
Well, my entertainment background started till my mother was always connected with something in the industry one way or the other. And she had this job where she was working for Disney and getting singers for the new exhibits who were there, the musicians and so forth, got up. And then the producer, whose name was James Cleveland, who was a legend in his own right, he looked over at me and said, "What's the matter? You can't sing?" So, but I was a young dude then. I wasn't trying to, put myself out there. So that was my first recording session on a James Cleveland produced album. And then from there was the Long Beach Arena fundraiser for Martin Luther King that I told you about earlier, where I sang because Mahalia Jackson was part of that. And my mother she was constantly trying to push me up into that direction. And I sang my first solo on that concert at the Long Beach Arena for a fundraiser, like I said, for Martin Luther King.
I do want to carry on because this week we are highlighting Mahalia Jackson, and I want to connect the dots between the two. And I can't go on any further. I would be remiss if I did not get your mom's full name.
Yes, my mom's full name is Gwendolyn Cooper Leitner.
Gwendolyn Cooper Leitner.
And that's when she was familiar and friends with Mahalia Jackson before she started actually working with her.
So you said that she and Mahalia, before she even played for Mahalia, they were friends. How did that friendship come about?
Well, I don't really know because when we coming up, we just always knew her as Aunt Mahalia. And when we found out who Mahalia Jackson was, I have to do too. Mahalia Jackson was, it was like, oh, she's famous. We didn't even know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So looking at that journey, when we first started this conversation, you mentioned and just kind of skated by the fact that you sang at the Long Beach Arena while Dr. Martin Luther King was doing a speech and Miss Mahalia was singing. So tell us about that experience.
So in the early days, I was a teenager at the time. I think I was a senior in high school, maybe a junior or something like that. 1969, I think it was. And I had just started actually singing and my mother never even knew. My mother didn't even know I could sing till I was about 16 years old. And I was singing a gospel song. It was a song called "It's in My Heart" that I learned from a James Cleveland album.
Give us a little hum of it, just a little taste.
It's in my heart, a melody of love divine. I am his, and he is mine. And that is why I sing and I shout. Oh, it's in my heart. It's in my heart. So some point at that song, my mother came and kind of pushed the door open and she looked at me as if she had never even seen me before, like I was a stranger. And she said, "Come here." So we went in where the piano was and she sat down and started playing the song. And I got out the first line, "It's in my heart, a melody of love divine." And she just broke down and started crying. Oh. That was a Saturday. Needless to say, that next Sunday morning, she had pushed me up and to sing that very song at the Bethany Missionary Baptist Church. And so that was the beginning of my singing career, because since then she had been pushing and pushing and pushing. So getting back to the Long Beach Arena situation, she was always using opportunity to get me out front. So since she had an in on that, she put me on the program to sing a solo. It was a mass choir. There was a couple other performers. I can forget who was all there. Maybe my sisters, or I have a sister that remembers all this stuff. And after that, Mahalia loved the song I sang, and she wanted me to teach her the song because she wanted to record it. And when she came back out a few months later, go to the studio, went to the studio with her. I taught her the song right in the studio. She laid it down like that, one take, and recorded that song. And it was a song called Everywhere I Go, There Is Trouble. Yeah, I think.
So I'm not going to let you just skate through that. Number one, I want to hear a taste of that song. And then
I'm not mentioning any more songs.
Wait. I mean, really? You're in a recording studio teaching Mahalia Jackson a song. So
everywhere I go, there is trouble. There is trouble. Everywhere I go, there is strife. I'm not sure, but I think one of the Hawkins wrote that song. I'm not really 100% sure, but let's go with that.
And so Mahalia recorded that particular song. So we can find that.
Yes.
Wow. So how was she as a person? I mean, outside, all we know is Mahalia Jackson, but what was she like just on a one-on-one? What was Auntie Mahalia like?
Mahalia was just a dear, sweet soul. She was Southern through and through. So she had Southern hospitality, very calm and collected lady, didn't like a lot of brouhaha and drama. She didn't even consider herself a celebrity because she was doing the Lord's work. And that's what it was. If you want to come and fly me here or fly me there and pay me all this money to do it, I'll do it. But that's not what it was for her. Just plain old Mahalia, really. Come to the house. She get in that kitchen and whip up some greens or something like that. Plain old stuff, just regular old, like anybody else. Like you, Miss Wendy, you're a celebrity, a huge celebrity. But when we doing our thing, I have to remind myself that you're a celebrity sometimes. Now, when I see you on something, then all of a sudden, oh, that's Wendy, da, da, da. But when we're working and hanging out and whatever, you're just down home, wonderful young lady who was raised in South Central like myself. I've always felt our connection with that. So that was the same thing with her, very professional. Even when they tried to get her to do all this extra stuff and they wanted her to sing jazz and blues and whatever, it was just like, you can make this much money. She didn't care. She said, no, well, I'm not doing it for that. So basically, she was just a woman who believed and loved God and loved life.
Wow.
So if you had to ask me, it's a lot of things, but the way she could affect a crowd of thousands of people was just amazing. I was just in awe. You could talk about feeling the spirit. No games, no floor shows, anything. Just the true, unadulterated spirit of the Lord through her singing. That's what made her famous.
When you say, and this really stuck out for me, you were like, she didn't have much. She just had an organist and a pianist. Why do you personally feel it's so important to continue sharing this history and highlighting these legacies?
Well, first of all, I'm going to lean to the old adage, if we don't remember the past, we're doomed to repeat it. And what I found out from teaching young kids at AGC, Amazing Grace Conservatory, is that when I was younger, I just happened to like older movies. And I watched a lot of older movies. I used to sneak and stay up late at night just so I could watch those older movies. Well, the information that I got from watching those have stayed with me my whole life. And the information, like some of these kids, they don't even know a lot of information and a lot of history and facts about their own personal history. That's just the generation before them, let alone all the generations before that. So if we, as the carriers of that, don't keep it out there, our schools certainly haven't been teaching it up until now. I mean, now we have the internet and so forth and so on. You can go on and find any information you want, but it needs to be carried on through us, like we've done through our whole history in the United States. Is each one tell one, and sit down and tell those stories.
Mm.
Yes.
Mama Gwenny is so proud of you right
Oh,
now.
I know she is. I know she is.
Aunt Mahalia is so proud of you right now. And I'm just so humbled and honored to call you my friend right now.
Likewise.
Just in your master class, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you have so much and so many stories in such a lifetime, you know, that has just touched so many legacies. I'm like, wow, you're just all over the place in such a great and profound way. If you could take us out on one last song as we close the doors of the Zoom box, just a little something to take us out on such a.
Okay, I don't know about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I don't borrow from its sunlight, for its skies may turn to gray. I don't worry about my future, for I know what Jesus said. And today he walks beside me, for he knows what is ahead.
Sugar Hill.
Duke Ellington.
Hold on. I make it do what it do, baby. Ray Charles.
That's that Sugar Hill.
Ethel Waters.
Hattie McDaniel.
Butterfly McQueen.
That's that Sugar Hill.
Are you ready?
Sugar Hill.
Duke Ellington.
Hold on. I make it do what it do, baby. Ray Charles.
That's that Sugar Hill.
Ethel Waters.
Hattie McDaniel.
Butterfly McQueen.
That's that Sugar Hill.
Are you ready?
You have been chosen, not everybody gets to be Mahogany.